Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring something that's, well, it's everywhere, isn't it? Artificial intelligence. Often unseen, but it has this huge impact.
Absolutely.
Imagine maybe you build an AI, a chatbot, let's say. Super smart, answers questions, cracks jokes even. Feels pretty amazing, right?
Groundbreaking, yeah. You feel like you've created something incredible.
Exactly. But then, what happens when that amazing AI gives out bad info?
Or gets something wrong in a way that actually causes a problem.
Right, and suddenly that amazing feeling kind of evaporates, and you're left thinking, wait, who's actually responsible for this?
And that question, that's the absolute core of it.
That's what we're diving into today.
Yeah, because responsible use of AI, it's way more than just using AI nicely.
Okay, so what does it mean then?
It covers everything. How the AI is actually built, the code, the data,
Right.
then how it's used out in the world, and what it's even used for.
The purpose behind it.
Exactly. And the whole point is making sure all those pieces are, well, fair, ethical, safe, and really aligned with what we as humans value.
That alignment seems key.
It is. And there's this fascinating tension. It's between what AI can technically do.
Like all the cool, sometimes scary stuff we hear about.
Precisely. Generating realistic faces, imitating voices, predicting things.
Predicting crimes, maybe?
Yeah, things like that. Just because the tech can do it doesn't automatically mean it should.
Okay, that's a critical distinction.
It really is. And it leads straight back to that blame question when things go wrong. Is it the person who wrote the code?
Or the company using it.
Or maybe the regulators who didn't step in? It gets complicated fast.
So yeah, understanding responsibility is, like, crucial.
Paramount. Especially now.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Yeah.
You mentioned it rests on some core ideas, like pillars.
Yeah, we can think of it as three big pillars, sort of the foundation for responsible AI.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first one is pretty fundamental. Do no harm.
Sounds simple enough. Don't hurt people.
On the surface, yes. But harm can be subtle with AI. It's not just physical harm. We're talking mental, social harm, too.
Okay, like how?
Well, think about a facial recognition system. Let's say it works great for people with lighter skin,
Right.
but struggles to accurately identify people with darker skin tones.
Oh, I've heard about this. That's not just a bug, is it?
No, not at all. It's harmful. It's unfair treatment baked into the system. It could mean someone gets misidentified or maybe can't access a service just because the AI doesn't work equally well for them.
Wow. Okay, so that's do no harm. What's the next pillar?
Building right on that is pillar 2. Be transparent and fair.
Transparent, meaning we should understand how it works.
In some way, yes, or at least the principles behind its decisions. And crucially, it has to treat people equally. Fairness is key.
Especially when it's making big decisions about people's lives.
Exactly. Think about loans, job interviews.
Even bail decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
When an AI makes calls like that, people really have a right to know why. Why was this decision made?
But isn't that, like, super hard? Some of these AI systems are called black boxes, right?
Oh, it's incredibly difficult. That's a major technical challenge. Explainable AI, or XAI, is a whole field trying to tackle this.
Makes sense. So harm, transparency, fairness. What's the third pillar?
The third one ties it all together. Be accountable.
Meaning someone has to take responsibility when it messes up.
Precisely. We can't have a situation where everyone's just pointing fingers,
Pointing fingers in the dark, yeah.
Someone or some group has to be accountable. Otherwise, there's no incentive to fix things or prevent future mistakes.
But again, in practice,
Yeah.
with AI built by huge teams using open source stuff, data from everywhere, isn't finding who's accountable really, really hard?
It's incredibly hard. And that's why accountability isn't just about, finding one person to blame.
Okay.
It's more about setting up clear processes, governance structures, audit trails, knowing who was responsible for what part of the AI's life cycle.
So it's a shared responsibility almost.
It often has to be. Distributed systems need distributed responsibility, from the data scientists to the legal team to the people deploying it.
Got it. Okay, these pillars make sense theoretically. Maybe some stories would help make it more concrete.
Yeah, stories are great for this. Let's contrast two scenarios. Using AI versus using it responsibly.
Okay, what's the first story?
Let's call it story 1. The classroom AI.
Okay.
Picture a school, right? They install some AI software to monitor students during online exams.
The proctoring software stuff.
Exactly. It flags things like eye movements, noise in the background, anything it thinks looks like suspicious behavior.
On paper, maybe sounds useful for stopping cheating.
Maybe, but then you see the actual impact.
Okay, what happens?
Well, students with certain disabilities, maybe they move differently or need assistive tech, they get flagged unfairly.
Oh, no.
Or non-native English speakers. The voice detection misunderstands them, flags them, causes immense stress.
It's awful.
And beyond that, think about the mental health side. Students feeling constantly watched, surveilled.
Yeah, that constant pressure.
Right. So in this case, yeah, AI was used. But was it used responsibly? Absolutely not.
No, clearly not. They didn't think about the real people involved.
Exactly. It caused more problems than it solved, really.
That classroom story is, yeah, pretty unsettling. Shows how good intentions aren't enough. What's the contrast? Story 2.
Okay, story 2. The chatbot for mental health.
Interesting. Go on.
So imagine a small nonprofit. They decide to build an AI chatbot specifically designed to offer some support for people dealing with anxiety.
Okay, a potentially sensitive application.
Very. But here's how they approached it responsibly. First, they trained it using actual established mental health research, not just random internet text.
Good start.
Then, crucially, they had real psychologists review it.
Yeah.
Check its advice, its tone, make sure it's safe.
Human oversight.
Essential. And the bot is very clear. It always reminds users, hey, I'm a bot. I'm not a substitute for a real therapist or doctor.
Managing expectations, that's important.
Hugely. Plus, privacy was a top priority. Encrypting data, being clear about how data is used.
Okay.
And they tested it like crazy. They did red teaming, trying to trick it into saying something harmful or dangerous to find weaknesses before launch.
So they were really thinking ahead about potential problems.
They were thinking about the people, the actual users, their vulnerability, their well-being. That's the difference. That's responsible use in action.
That's a much better story.
Yeah.
It really highlights the difference thoughtfulness makes. Which brings us back to that big question.
Whose job is it?
Yeah. Who is supposed to make sure AI gets used responsibly? Like in the second story, not the first.
Well, the kind of unsatisfying but true answer is all of us.
All of us. How?
In different ways. Let's break it down.
Okay.
First up, you've got the developers and designers, the folks actually building this stuff.
The coders, the engineers.
Right. They write the code, they choose the data to train the models, they make really key decisions about how the AI works.
Their responsibility is huge.
Immense. They need to worry about biased data. You know, if the data itself reflects old prejudices, the AI might learn them.
Garbage in, garbage out kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. So they have to test rigorously for fairness, for safety, try to make it explainable as much as possible, build in ethical guardrails from the start.
So it's not just, can we build this cool thing?
No, it has to be, should we build this, and how do we build it right? How do we make it safe and fair?
Okay, that's the builders. Who else?
And then there are the users. That's, you know, you listening, me,
Mm.
everyone who interacts with AI.
Even if we don't code, we have a role.
Absolutely, a really important one. We need to use these tools thoughtfully. Meaning, like, don't just blindly trust everything a chatbot tells you.
Right, check the source.
Exactly. Don't spread misinformation just because an AI generated it and it looks convincing. Ask questions. Where did this AI come from? How does it really work? Who does it impact?
Be critical consumers.
Yes. And push back. If something feels wrong, if it feels unfair or creepy or just ethically dubious, say something, demand better.
So users have power to shape this too.
Definitely. Market demand for ethical AI is a real thing.
Okay, builders, users. Who's next?
Then you've got the regulators and policymakers, the government, oversight bodies.
The ones who make the rules.
Essentially, yeah, they create the laws, the guidelines, the consequences if things go badly wrong. They set the boundaries.
To make sure companies don't, like, endanger people or violate rights.
Exactly. Public safety, human rights, democratic values. Their job is to protect those things in the face of this powerful new tech.
They're kind of like the referees.
That's a good way to put it. Trying to referee a game that's moving incredibly fast and the rules keep needing updates is a massive challenge for them.
I bet. Okay, is that everyone? Builders, users, regulators?
There's one more layer, maybe the broadest one. Society as a whole.
All of us, collectively.
Yes. This is where we all need to be part of the conversation, asking the really big questions.
Like what?
Like, is this AI push actually helping everyone, or just, you know, a handful of tech companies or wealthy nations?
Yeah, the equity question.
Right. Is AI reinforcing discrimination that already exists, or could it maybe help us break those patterns?
Big picture stuff.
And are we making choices now about how we develop and use AI that future generations will look back on and say, Yeah, they got that right.
Or will they regret what we did?
Exactly. It forces us to see responsible AI not just as a tech issue. It's fundamentally human, social, even global.
That really puts it in perspective. It's not just code. It's about us.
Precisely.
You know, as we're wrapping up, there's an analogy that really sticks with me about this.
Oh, yeah.
AI isn't inherently good or bad. It's a tool, like fire.
Ah, the fire analogy. I like that one.
Right. Fire can warm your home, cook your food.
Or it can burn everything down.
It all depends on how we choose to use it, how we manage it.
That connects perfectly back to responsible AI. It's about being thoughtful, thinking ahead,
Caring about the impact on others.
building wisely, and maybe most importantly, not losing sight of our own humanity while we're busy building these incredibly smart machines.
That's a powerful thought, keeping our humanity central.
It has to be.
And it leaves us with that final crucial takeaway, doesn't it? Something for everyone listening to really consider.
Which is,
Just because we can do something with AI,
it doesn't always mean we should.